How's it going, everyone? This is Edgar. I'm going to be doing a deck profile of the Dragapult list I chose to play at the Louisville Regionals this past weekend. Alrighty, guys, we're going to be jumping right in. I'm going to be explaining some of the reasons why I played certain cards, and I'm going to be adding additional commentary after I laid the whole deck out. And if you have any questions or concerns, just go ahead and add them to my comments, and I will go ahead and reply to them as quickly as I can. I played 4 Drippies, pretty standard. You want to see them in the beginning of the game, and you just want to have the maximum amount, right? You're playing a Dragapult deck, and you want to make sure that you get to the Dragapult, right? Only 2 Dracloaks. The ability to see 2 cards, add 1 and put 1 at the bottom is really good. It adds consistency, and also it helps you when there are decks like Lost Box or maybe a mirror match that tries to de-evolve you, and if you're only relying on rare candies, it's going to be a bad day for you. I played 3 Dragapults. This is the main attacker of the deck. You want to make sure you try to get this Pokemon out by turn 2 to add instant pressure to your opponent using the Phantom Dive attack. 200 damage to the active, 60 damage counters wherever you want, right? Next up, I play 2 Pidgeys. I know, one of them has 60 HP and the other one has 50. Why? The reason is I couldn't get another Pidgey that had 60, and I didn't want to really look for it. But one thing that I did notice is that when I was playing 2 50 HP Pidgeys, my opponents will always try to knock them out with Dusclops, which is good and bad. It's good because they blow themselves up, give us a prize, and they don't injure our Dragapults, which is great. And if they want to knock out a Pidgey, go for it. We're going to get them back regardless, so we can get it whenever we want. I only played 1 Pidgeot as I just didn't see the use to see 2 Pidgeots every single time. The more I played the deck, the more I just felt like 1 was okay. And I do want to add that the Pidgey with 50 HP, worst comes to worst, you can call for family and get 2 Pokemon out, so that's pretty good. Alrighty, moving forward. Only played 1 Rotom. It's really good in the beginning of the game. You just nest ball into it, draw 3. Shouldn't be using Instant Charge more than twice a game. If you do, then you're just gonna have a bad time, because Rotom is just not used more than twice, I believe. I use Serendipity because they're gonna be knocking out your Pokemon. Usually they start knocking out the small stuff because there are decks like Raging Bull, Miraidon that can get an attack off by turn 2 or maybe even turn 1 if they go second and they just start attacking you. I chose to play Radiant Alakazam. I'm debating whether to switch this off to Radiant Charizard, since one of the matchups during the regionals that was giving me a hard time was Raging Bolt, just because they have 240 HP and it's just very difficult to knock them out. So now with Radiant Charizard, you can go in and just hit them for 250 in late game. But I also was debating to add a Sandshrew with the Sand Screen ability that prevents your opponent from adding any supporters back to the deck, right? Using trainer cards. And then lastly, a Manaphy. The Manaphy is, I think, in my opinion, mandatory because Regidrago has access to Kyurem. The Greninja deck that does Mirage Barrage is just going to give you knockouts everywhere, so you want to make sure you protect yourself. Manaphy is good, and it also prevents the Ogerpon, the water Ogerpon, from double sniping, so just consider that. Moving on to the cards that have 4 ofs. I play 4 rare candies. It's just a mandatory if you're trying to get the Pidgeot turn 2 or even the Dragapult, because if you go through the stage 1 line, you want to make sure that you get the Dragapult out first, and then you evolve the other one slowly. You want to keep 1 or 2 available when they de-evolve you. Some decks do play de-evolution. You just want to make sure that you're prepared for that as well. I play 4 Buddy Puffins, standard with any deck that has low HP Pokemon. Stage 2s do have low HP Pokemon, so you want to make sure to have them, and it searches out pretty much everything in your deck. The Pidgeys, the Drippies, and the Manaphy, which is great. I elected to play 3 nest balls. The nest balls are to get, you can get any basic, right? But you want to make sure you get Rotom, Pheasantipity, Radiant Alakazam towards the end. But you can also, there's been hands where I got 2 Buddy Puffins and a nest ball. You see that? That's going to be a good game because you can set up your board and the nest ball gets you the Rotom, right? And then moving on, I only chose to play 2 Ultra Balls because I did decide to play a Feather Ball, just to cheat out the Pidgeot as fast as I can. And the more I played the deck, the more I didn't want to discard my hand or discard any pieces, because sometimes you're forced to drop rare candies or counter catchers or stuff like that, right? So that's why I didn't want to play more. 2 counter catchers. I'm gonna bring this up to 3 just because it's so good, right? Arven, you want to keep grabbing stuff out of your deck, and the Dracloaks and the Pidgeot and all the grabbing of the deck, you want to make sure that you still have an ability to gust up, right? Moving on to the supporters that I used. I used 2 Bosses orders. This is going to become a 3rd counter catcher. I didn't understand why the list that I based my deck played 3 until I started playing it a lot more. And then when I played the whole regional, I realized that 3 counter catchers will be more ideal, because most of the turns I'm going to be using either Arven or Iono. So it's just 3 counter catchers would be so much better. Then I chose to play 2 Ionos. I didn't play the Roxanne. I just felt like 2 Ionos was great. The only matchup that you need a 3rd disruption card will probably be against Raging Bolt. But with the addition of the Sandshrew, I think that matchup is going to be favored. And as you can see, I don't play the Dusknoir line. I don't like giving prizes, especially free ones. So pure Dragapult was great. And it worked out for me. And I forgot to mention under the 4 stack that I did play just 4 Arven. I played about 8 supporters. It was enough. I didn't feel like I needed more. Then I played 3 Fire Energies, 3 Psychic. It's the standard. I don't think you need more energy than that. Like, because you're using the Sparkling Crystal and you're using 1 energy, and then you're already attacking. So all the other energy is pretty straightforward. Even Alakazam could start swinging. If you start that Alakazam, you only play 1 switching option, which is the Professor Tauros. But let me get into the 1-ups, and then I'll go back and explain a little bit more of why I play certain cards, right? I played 1 Last Vacuum. I thought it was pretty good. Didn't see a lot of value to it, but against Raging Bull, they do play the Bravery Charm, so that's pretty good to counter it. It's also good in the mirror match because you get rid of their crystal just in case you can't knock it out for whatever. And then I played 1 Earthen Vessel. This is the discard effect. For the most part, it didn't bother me, but at the same time, I felt like maybe this can be switched out for an energy search, because usually I was just grabbing 1 energy because I do play Crispin that I need the energy in my deck, so I didn't want to be greedy and be grabbing both. Then you play the 1 Forest Seal Stone for the Rotom. I'm sorry for the glare, but I hope I move the camera. But yeah, you just combine it with the Rotom to grab whatever you want. Usually what I did is I Rotomed into having access to my Arven. I'm trying to get my Pidgeot, right? But I didn't need the Pidgeot in every game. I know it's hard to think of another reason why I am playing it and not trying to get it out. It's just some decks just they one-shot it, right? Anything that has its weakness, like Miraidon or Raging Bolts or stuff like that, I don't know. I felt like some matchups you didn't really need to take it out. But yeah, so I played 1 Crispin. Here, let me see if I can move this. So I played one Crispin. The Crispin is really good because after your first Dragapult goes down with the Crystal, you want to make sure that Crispin is the next way to power up the next one if you're not missing attachments or if you're just doing it once per turn, because the games go fairly quickly, right? Because the Dragapult is very aggressive. I played the Sparkling Crystal as my A spec. It's just straightforward. It's the best A spec for this deck. The only other alternative that I would possibly think of playing is probably a Hero's Cape, just because a very big Dragapult is more difficult for the Raging Bull to knock out, as they always have access to 5 energies to knock you out for 350, I believe. I played one Feather Ball. The Feather Ball was just to cheat out the Pidgeot. I just grab it with Arvin. Most of the time I already have a rare candy in hand since you play 4. Or it's just good to look into the deck for free. And then moving forward, I played one Night Stretcher. Night Stretcher can grab anything, a Pokemon or an energy. Most of the time I would use an Ultra Ball to throw away maybe a Psychic Energy and a Dragapult or whatever. And then later on, I would just grab whatever I need, either the energy or the Pokemon. Very good. One Super Rod is just to put stuff back in your deck. Most of the time was energy. When a Dragapult goes down, I probably wouldn't put the line back in, depending how many of them were priced. If multiple of them are priced, then I would definitely put them back, just because you do want to keep recycling the Dragapults. Then I played one Professor Tauros. It was good. I'm not gonna lie. It was good, but at the same time, I just felt this slot can go to something else, right? Because if your opponent is not attacking and knocking out your Dragapults and they're trying to knock out the Rotom like mid-game, they're already going to be falling behind, because you're going to just take over and punch something else with Dragapult. The 2 prizes that they take, great. I'm just going to Iono you out of the big hand that you're going to get. So Professor Tauros is just mainly just to pick up maybe Alakazam. I'm probably going to cut it. It's good, and I know everybody's like, no, it's too good, it's too good, it's too good. For me, the way that I'm playing it, as I'm not playing no Dusknoir line or anything like that, I'm playing straight Dragapult. I just felt like it didn't serve the purpose that I wanted to. And then I played one Mela. This card was the MVP of the tournament, I want to say. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be the first person to be putting other players on the card, but definitely this card is really good. So what it does is you can only use the card if one of your Pokemon was knocked out last turn, and you attach a fire energy from your discard pile onto your Pokemon, and then you draw until you have 6. That is really powerful, because as I said before, your first attack is energy plus crystal most of the time, and then after they knock it out, you're going to have a Crispin turn where you're going to do Crispin for both energies on the deck, that you're going to have to combo it with your Night Stretcher or your Super Rod, stuff like that, right, to get them back in the deck or get it to your hand, just so it could activate. But there are turns where you don't have access to Crispin because your energies are in your discard pile, and your Super Rod, you're trying to throw stuff back in. So now with Mela, you don't have to throw in the fire energy. Like, let's say you have 1 in the discard pile and 3 psychic energies, you can just Super Rod the 3 back in, because you could combo Mela by getting it. It's like a welder on steroids, but you only get 1 energy, but nonetheless you can still have access to the other energy, which is really good, and you replenish your hand. So MVP, I would recommend people to play it. And then the tools that I used, besides the Forest Seal Stone and the Sparkling Crystal, Defiance Band, really good against Raging Bull matchup, because your first couple Dragapults are gonna go down very quick, so you want to punch stuff, you want to spread damage counters, and since they're at 240, it's kind of awkward to put 4 damage counters on one, and and so on. So now you could put probably 2 on 2 Raging Bulls and put the other 2 on the 2 Ogre Pawns, and then Defiance Band it'll clean one up. Or you can punish them if they put multiple energies on one of the Ogre Pawns. You can just use Defiance Band and knock something out, because Raging Bolt is too aggressive, right? And it just won Louisville, so you can just see how good that deck is. So it's gonna stay relevant for a little while. All the other decks I feel like you have a good matchup with, but Raging Bolt is probably your worst matchup, and probably Lugia, since we don't play the Dusknoir to help us with the Archeops. But if they knock us out, then we have access to Defiance Band. We boss up or counter capture one of the Archeops, hit it for knockout, put 60 on the back, right? But the Defiance Band, if you bring up one of their Vs like a Lugia, most of the time they can't evolve the two Lugias that they usually put down, so you want to just attach and just knock it out. But it has different purposes, but it's really, really, really good because you can also attach it to a Radiant Alakazam, and then you just start swinging whatever they have. So if they have 6 cards, it's 120 plus this is 150, and they have to answer the Alakazam because if they take prices off your 2 prizers, they're gonna build a big hand, and Mind Ruler just punishes them. And then I use one rescue board, mandatory. This allows you to retreat pretty much everything, even an injured Dragapult. You just retreat it. It's really good. So next, I played one Technical Machine, the Evolution. Since we are a spread deck, we gotta make sure we pressure. We pressure the Charizards. We pressure Guardies. We mirror matches, pretty much anything that evolves into a stage 1, stage 2, even Goldengos. Goldengos is another rough matchup for us, but with Devo, we can go ahead and punch the act and put 60 on the back, and then we try to take a 4-prize turn most of the time, but if they Professor Tauros one of them up, we could just pressure, because sometimes they use, I think, the lower HP Goldengo, and we de-evolve them, and I mean, this card is just so good. It's just so good. It pretty much wins us the game against Charizard. So, and then the last 2 cards that I used was Tempo Sinnoh. Tempo Sinnoh is good against, Lost Box or Lugia or anything that uses special energy. This just makes them into a vanilla card. And then lastly, Pokemon League Headquarters. This card is insane. This card against Miraidon, against Raging Bolt. Like, if I had a second one of these, I think I would have fared a lot better. But yeah, so I just want to talk a little bit about how I did at the regional. I ended up with a record of 5 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie. I started with the victory round 1. I played against a Blissey player. I'm not sure if that deck is even relevant, but once I figured it out, it's just I went ahead and dominated it. And since they are an evolution deck, you could just de-evolve, punch. They use the monkey to transfer 3 counters, but it's not enough because you're putting up so much pressure with 260 in the back that it's not enough. It's not enough of what they do, and you just counter catcher and punch the other one. And they do play Sharon's Care, but it's just they're asking for too much of that deck. So yeah, so I ended up beating it. I beat it 2-0, and then round 2 I faced Palkia, Dusknoir, and Greninja EX. I ended up losing that matchup because my Manaphy was prized both games. So he used Mirage Barrage on me a few times, and that was it, But I did make game 1 competitive. I took 5 prizes, but my last card was Manaphy, so Manaphy didn't want to come out. But if I did, I think I have a good matchup against it. Just because I punished everything and I could de-evolve his Greninja and so on. But just the Manaphy was not there to help me. So, and then next I lost that 2-0, by the way. So, next round 3, I faced a Raging Bolt. I think I did pretty good. I didn't test a lot with it since I just picked up this deck like 2 weeks ago. But I knew how Raging Bolt worked. I just didn't know how to beat it, right? So game 1, yeah, she took it. Like, she dominated the game. I think she drew a lot better. I couldn't set up. Game 2, I set up better. I went second against Raging Bolt. You have to go second because then they're gonna attack you. So you have to go second to put the pressure. And yeah, so I beat her game 2, and then game 3, the exchanges were happening, and then I honored her to 2 cards. She had drawn into a energy and to something else, so she just used the Greninja to discard and draw 2. She drew into the Sada that she needed and one shot in my fully HP Dragapult. But that game was nuts. But I did start the day with 1 win, 2 losses, and then I went ahead and won. I believe it was 3 in a row. I beat, what did I beat? I know I beat a Miraidon. I beat that 2-0. And then I beat a Terapagos, straight Terapagos. I think they played Dusknoir, but I'm not sure. But I beat that 2-0. And then I played like kind of a control deck with the Ogerpon and the giraffe Pokemon. I don't even know what it does. It's pretty much it has the ability to prevent basic EXs from attacking it. If y'all know the name, please drop it in the comments. I don't know. I don't know. But I beat him 2-0 as well. And then round 7, I was paired up against another Raging Bolt. I ended up stealing the first game. And then I lost the close to the game 2, and game 3 we went to time. And yeah, that was that. Like, there was nothing I could have done. You know, I played that matchup as close as possible, and I already know what I'm gonna do to pretty much give me a better shot. I'm gonna change out some of my cards. Like, for example, I'm taking out the Tempo Sinnoh, and I'm gonna add a Collapse Stadium. I'm gonna go ahead and I think I took out the Lost Vacuum because I wanted to add Sandshrew, and also I want to add a evolution TM evolution. This is gonna be a 3rd counter catcher. So I'm changing it up, right? This is gonna be taken out as well, and I forgot what I'm gonna add. So I want to make a 3rd Dragcloak. So I want to make sure that I put more consistency in here. I don't want to rely so much on Rotom. I want to make sure that I have an active Dragapult always, and then a line of Dragcloaks in the bag to draw cards, right? Because if I can't get up the Pidgeoff, if it's prized because I only play the 1, or if for whatever reason they knock it out, I have to make sure I draw, because if they Iono me low, and I a lot of the cards that I play, they don't draw cards except Fez. But then if they knock it out, you know, most of the time I don't want to bring it back, not even one Night Stretcher, just because it's not worth it. They're gonna knock it out again, and they take cheap prices. So I want to make sure they knock out 3 Dragapults. Most of the time they knock out 2, and then they just knock either one of the support Pokemon or the babies in the back. Yeah, so I ended up tying, and then my last round I played against Miraidon again, and I got donked game 1. Game 2, I went second, and then game 3, he decided to go first, but I ended up winning because game 2 he whiffed 2 generators, and game 3 he whiffed 3 generators. So that was bad luck from him. But I felt like I still had it because my setup was getting better, and I just, the Defiance Band, once he knocks me out with the MP very much, I just take over because I one-shot his Iron Hands, and they put so much investment into trying to get that Iron Hands up and running. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed my deck profile. This is my first one in a long time, and I'm gonna do my best to make sure that I explain my deck. I explain any changes that I'm thinking of doing, and I'm gonna be doing other deck profiles with other decks. If you have any that you want me to build and you want me to make a deck profile out of, just let me know. I'll do my best. Again, I'm trying to get back into streaming and all that. Not that I did it, very consistently back then, but I just want to make sure that I move into this hobby a little bit more, because I do really enjoy playing Pokemon, and I want to make sure that I improve on, being behind the camera, because it's something that I am nervous. I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice, but nonetheless, I'm very excited to do this for y'all. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.